I have those findings.
Discuss
Tonight, true American determination, meticulous skill, and bravery on the world stage.
Liberty and justice for all.
Whoa, that was
Okay, this meeting is now called to order. Our Pledge of Allegiance was already given, but usually that is given after a meeting is called to order. So we'll move on to roll call and begin with a roll call. Liz.
ready? Commissioner Bowser.
Here.
Commissioner Bueller. Here. Commissioner Day.
Here.
Commissioner Hewitt.
Here.
Commissioner Robertson. Commissioner Shaver.
Here.
Commissioner Warren.
Here.
Thank you.
Okay, as far as minutes for the approval for March 16th, I am passing down corrections for minutes, but I know that there's a couple other commissioners that will give additional corrections. Anybody else have comments on minutes? Okay, so we'll approve the March 16th with those corrections. And no courtesies, no proclamations, so we'll move on to our board and commission reports and begin with Commissioner Hewitt.
Yeah, my computer and my phone hated me, so I did not go. I was incapacitated and Tim isn't here, so I don't even know if he made it to the meeting. But Brian told me, he said there was nothing, he said, of importance. I did talk to him. So the buildings are going up, the hangars are still, they're going right along. And the new hangars. And we probably will start construction here on the runways once it warms up. Okay.
And do you have a meeting this Wednesday?
No, not until, no, it's the first Wednesday of every month. It was last week. It was last week.
I'm a day
The
late.
Wednesday at the first
Weekly
kind of
and dollar
for
short.
all the week.
Yeah, wow.
Next month.
Got it.
Okay, how about Commissioner Bowser?
We had the ordinance committee on March 18th. We went over several things. We determined we really need more employees for planning. We went over the appeals process on the apartment, and we were made aware that our lawyer is on maternity leave and the planner is ill and won't probably be back to work. We discussed options on retaining an attorney. We encouraged Holly to contact the apartment developer to see if there was a plan for the apartment building that could be modified to fit the community better. So she was going to follow up with them. We also instructed Holly to contact the county to see where they are in appointing their members of the planning committee so we could move forward with our part on that. And then Commissioner Robertson gave a summary of the data center meeting. Oh, and then I went to the library committee. We accepted the resignation of the library director effective February 26, 26. A board member is reviewing the job description, so we could begin the process of hiring a new director.
You said that was April?
They were both March 18th.
March. No, the library director, you said you were.
Oh, February 26th.
She resigned that day. We accepted it. Her last day of employment was the 26th
Yes.
of March.
No, that's it.
Questions regarding library or ordinance? Commissioner Shaver?
I have no report.
Commissioner Bueller?
Trying to grab all my dates here. The Central Montana Foundation met March 24th We were excited to award multiple grants that day to the Boys and Girls Club, the Elks, Lewistown Hoppers, and the Silver Spurs 4-H Club. The next Central Montana Foundation will be coming April 28th, but our annual meeting will be Tuesday, May 26th at the Yogo at noon, and that is a public meeting. So lots happening there. There's lots gearing up for the scholarship application time and review, so the board is very busy. And then I tried to grab the date that the audit committee met. Again, these committee meetings are open to the public, so if people are interested to come, it's a good time to learn how the process works, to offer input and to see what's going on. But the audit committee met the 19th. We reviewed the recent audit findings and created actions to address those findings and get those clarified. We also discussed multiple departments and how the city funds each and every department. We had another examination of that tonight with the street department and how it has multiple points of revenue that come in and how those funds are navigated. Our next audit committee meeting will be April 16th at noon, and I will not be able to be there. That's my board breakdown.
Thank you.
Are you meeting in Central Montana Foundation meeting in April?
Yeah, April 28th. Did I not say that one?
I might
We
have
had
missed
all
it.
these dates.
April 28th, and then the public annual meeting is
May
May 2nd.
26th.
May 26th, okay,
Yes.
thank
May
you.
26th, not May 2nd.
Not May 2nd, May 26th. I can throw all those dates back at you. I'll read those in the minutes.
Commissioner Warren?
Public Works meeting will be on Friday, so nothing to report till then.
Okay.
What time do you guys meet?
9
9
Yeah.
9 a.m.
And those are on, like, trying to keep that
Okay.
on this meeting report.
Alrighty, can everyone hear me okay? I'm so. Okay, I'll give the, report for the Park and Rec meeting. We met last Wednesday on April 1st, and we had some guests that were associated with the farmer's market come. And, again, we've heard as a commission, a request for additional sidewalk, put in at Sims Park along Ridgelong to facilitate better foot traffic. We had some members from the farmer's market come to the Park and Rec meeting as well to, ask and request again that that could happen at that park. The current conditions, they communicated are often muddy and pose hazards when wet. So the board expressed an interest in the sidewalk. However, we discussed that the projects are costly and require a large time frame to complete, which also would include ADA compliance and funding. So alternative options were discussed, including moving the farmer's market into downtown or Creekside Park. And members of the board, the Park and Rec Board and the Farmers Market Group were open to conducting a walkthrough of the Creekside Park to discuss potential site utilization. The discussion will continue at the May Park and Rec Board meeting, finding a location for them that is safe and good that the community can still benefit from. Civic Center updates, there's low staffing continues to impact the Civic Center. Advertising for the Trails Coordinator position is ongoing in hopes that a suitable candidate will be found, and an additional Civic Center position is also currently open. As far as the pool goes, applications are being received, and many of the returning staff are returning for this season as well. Other business that was discussed was that the Lewistown Earth Day celebration will be held on April 22nd and will include a park cleanup at Frank Day Park. So you can watch the Civic Center's Facebook page for more information on that. And then Arbor Day will be held in downtown Lewistown on April 23rd. The hockey rink year-end report will be held at the May board meeting, which will actually take place in the new multi-purpose room at Frank Day Park. So that will be the first Wednesday of May at 7 p.m. And also, a lot of volunteers have been actively working on the trail cleanup. And that is all I have to report on the Park and Rec. And any other questions regarding board and commission reports? Okay, all right, we'll move on to our city manager report with City Manager Holly Phelps.
Yes, to build on some of those conversations, the audit response has been finalized on the city's portion of it. Our auditors are still waiting for a letter from the attorney regarding any pending litigation and need that to finalize their audit report. So we're still in a draft form. This year, as we discussed, one of the points was the City of Lewistown is required to hold the debt reserve funds for the pool bond. As many of you are aware, those funds were previously held at the county level, and it was not pointed out to the city that we should be holding those until recently. I did request those funds from Fergus County, and they sent those funds to us right away, so that issue has been resolved. The city is also working with an outside law firm to review and analyze the appeals for the Board of Adjustment. Our city attorney is currently out on family medical leave, and therefore we are worked through the League of Montana, or cities and towns. They have a legal services where they have contracts for legal services already in place. And so we were able to work with one of those firms. And so they will work with us to determine what appeals have merit and to help the board through the appeals process. Obviously, lots of events in our community. We are definitely shifting to summer events. Softball starts very soon, April 10th and 11th, with the tournament at the Lewistown complex. And then the Charlie Russell Choo-Choo starts their season out in May. The last of the activities at the Civic Center, the winter activities, are wrapping up. And so that's men's 4-on-4, and then we switch to the outside stuff. This year's Little Eagle basketball is very large. We are very lucky to have some participation with the school district in the use of the Lewis and Clark gym. With approximately 160 kids participating in that, that allows them to kind of divide and conquer, giving those kids more time in the gym and practicing. And so all of those schedules are available on the Facebook page for the Park and Recreation Department. The updated building permits for March are on there. We are still in spring, so those numbers are not very large. 5 residential permits and 4 commercial permits. You can see those valuations. Really not any significant changes on our project updates. So biosolids, that project is still currently being designed. And then we'll go out to bid. The wastewater treatment, it is, everything's up and running now, but is just waiting for better weather, no mud, before they do the site restoration. And then that completes that. You may have noticed the City Hall concrete. So that was done utilizing the city's SLIPA funds, so that's State and Local Infrastructure Partnership. There was some concrete that failed over the winter and is being replaced under warranty, so that's why they're back out there now. Just a very small portion of it, so it should conclude very quickly. The Recycle Montana will be hosting their e-waste collection May 2nd, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at the fairgrounds. RAL is also helping with this, and RAL did, ask, this year they had to pay, for a portion of the trucking for that firm to come in and pick that up. So they're looking for sponsorship of that event, and, the city does have some discretionary funds and, would like to utilize those funds to, pay for approximately 50% of that, so about $250 towards that effort this year. Zoning codes, we continue to move through that process. With the attorney out, we are just reviewing our current codes, and then we'll look at drafting code updates at a later date. Commissioners did touch briefly on the positions that are available. Of course, Public Works Director is still open, though we do have a couple of interested people. The Recreational Trail Specialist and the Recreation Specialist are both open. So the trails maintains the trails, that is a part-time position, primarily during the summer. The Recreation Specialist is a full-time position with benefits, working out of the Park and Rec Department. So they work in the parks and at the pool in the summer, but also help with those recreational programs. The library helper, that substitute position, they have received several applications, so I believe that we'll encourage them to do that and look at hiring those positions. The street worker, we have one opening still there, and the police department has 2 police officer positions. We did hire have a conditional offer on a communications officer, dispatcher, and another that was placed on a hiring list there. The pool staff, we have a lot of kids returning this year and all of our managers returning this year, which positions us very well, but we are still anticipating hiring some new staffing, and so information can be found on the website or at city office or the civic center. And then the fire department, as we touched on previously, is always looking for part-paid firemen. If you've heard sirens, they've been busy this year already, and so if you know people that are interested in community service and the fire department might be a great fit for them. That's all I have, thank you.
Really quick on that, do you need a motion to be able to sponsor that event, or are you able to go ahead and do that?
With our purchasing policy, there's no action required. Yep.
Yeah, the e-waste recycling.
Any other questions from the commission regarding the city manager's report?
Holly, on the hiring of our outside counsel,
Uh-huh.
was that Tyler suggest that? Tyler's gone, right?
Eternity leave.
He's on family medical.
Yep.
So we hired an attorney to replace him, or would we have done this even if he was still here?
I know.
He
We
would've-
may have, we would have looked at it possibly at that point, but it was primarily because he's out.
Do we have a dollar amount that was, or? going
So
to be?
there's an hourly amount on that, and so that's all been contracted through, the League of Cities and Towns. So those amounts have already been worked.
Are they paying or we are? They're paying, we're gonna.
I didn't know that, we or they,
The City of Lewistown,
so the taxpayers?
Yes.
and is it correct that in our budget, we do have a line item for contracted services if needed? Okay.
Which we're gonna talk about later. Is not part of the purchase plan? I saw something on professional services.
I mean, it can be summarized as that, but that's not, it's a budgetary item that we budget for each year.
Like a line item?
Yes. So there's no action
What is the
required
line
for
item? The extra attorney? Or
Contracted services. So
in lieu of an hourly, in lieu of an employee?
if needed.
Okay.
Did we answer your question?
When I think of contracted service, I think of consultants and so forth. I don't think of
So,
an attorney that's replacing our attorney.
okay, but they are not replacing our attorney. We have, at any time, when the commission approves the budget, there is always legal services in the budget for grievances, arbitration where we're doing our union agreements. We have, in this situation, we have him on family medical leave. We cannot contact him. So we have that, the commission has given that the authority to do that.
How much?
We have a discounted rate through the League of Cities and Towns.
How much?
I don't know how much it will be at this time.
No, there has to be a top end, like, we're not gonna spend $100,000
Oh,
on
no.
this. I mean,
Right now, it's at an
10,000?
hourly.
But what is it budgeted for? Is what
The
they're
budget, we have 5,000 in different accounts. It depends on what it's for.
So this would be.
I mean,
particular
5,000, this,
Planning.
I guarantee you this letter costs $5,000 almost.
No,
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 probably an hour's worth.
it's, our hourly rate is discounted through the league, and it's $160 an hour. is what we-
Okay. But the tab's running on this replacement attorney. This attorney, the tab's running every time we use him hourly, it's a cost.
correct.
Okay.
My microphone keeps going off, so that's why I was bringing
We want to switch that one.
Yeah,
I have to now looking.
Let's switch it.
Mine's not working.
Well, you can-
I just have projecting voice.
Maybe the two combined will work to do. All right, we will move on now to public comment. So this is public comment on non-agenda items. So anybody wanting to make a public comment on non-agenda items, please just state your name and address for the record.
I just got a question. Michael Byrne,
Do I need to get that mic?
Oh, so.
no,
Okay.
I'm looking for Dave.
Perfect.
Michael Byrne, I own the sign shop. We live in the Esplanade. And I just have a question. I did see part of the article that came out in the paper concerning the meeting or eventual meeting with the Board of Adjustments, I'm assuming it's gonna be. Do you have a date yet for that or not until later?
They have not selected a date.
Okay,
It
that's-
has to occur by April 24.
Okay, that was my question.
Hi, thank you.
Tanya Zambrello, I just live 200 feet from the proposed apartments. And I'd like to address what the gentleman started with regards to the attorney. In this article that was written, it says that the attorney will determine which ones have merit regarding the letters that were written. That sounds really intimate, like that's the job of our current attorney, and it's been handed over to somebody that's a total outsider. Another thing that it mentions is another decision the attorney will make is who counts as in the aggrieved party. So he's gonna decide who the aggrieved parties are. Again, how does he know? Well, he's not even been here. He didn't even hear any of the complaints that were made that night when you guys were doing the variance meeting. So I have a big issue with that, and that's my tax dollars. And if you saw my sidewalk right now, it looked like a bomb went off. So I have a problem with that. I'm not happy with the fact that, Holly, you say that the next step is court. And I don't understand where the logic is in that. We all have we're serious about this not being so huge. I don't know why they just can't minimize the project. Why can't you just lower it to something more suitable for the neighborhood? That's it.
Thank you. Any other public comment?
Ross Butcher, Berks County Commissioner, I guess. I just saw there was something about the Burke property on here, but that's on the agenda, so this is not agenda comments. You know, I was on the Recharter Community Committee that, you know, put forth the feasibility study on the Burke property and all that, so I'm interested in where it's going, and, I don't know, I'll be interested to hear what's going on. I'm just wondering if there's an opportunity maybe to have input during that.
Absolutely.
I would have some.
Public comment on non-agenda items are
I know, that's, we're agenda items, I gotta comment, so.
You do.
All right.
Read the fine print at the bottom.
All right.
We don't have these meetings up in the county courthouse, this is serious down here.
Any other public comment this evening on G?
Yeah, I have a question, Michelle Rainey at 160 Castle Ridge Drive. So is there a possibility we won't have a meeting with the Board of Adjustment? Is that a possibility?
No,
I would
No,
guess
I think-
not.
yeah, by the process, it would have to be before April 24th is the deadline that we're given.
Yes, the appeals. And so there is, aggrieved parties and merits and things like that. So there's a process to determine what appeals raise to that level. But the board will still have a meeting regardless.
They'll have a meeting regardless. And it said something about only those that gave an appeal are gonna be able to talk that night.
No, it would be a public meeting, and
That
so
was
the
in the
public,
paper.
there won't be new information that could be brought in. I mean, it's a rehearing of the previous action, but it's a public meeting where the public can comment.
It says it'll be left to the attorney how best to do that. The attorney that you contracted.
So right now, we're fielding public comments, so we're taking comments versus discussions on that. So if you'd like to stand and state your comment, then we could look at addressing those questions later.
I quote, "We
And
will
is-
leave it
and
to
Michelle-
the attorney how best to do that, but each person who has appeal will be allowed to present his or her case," Phelps said. I don't know if all appeals will be heard at the same time, or if it will be heard sequentially.
Okay, so right now, Michelle Rainey was making a public comment.
Well, you addressed me, so I thought I'd stand and make my comment.
All right, so I would like to field things off of our opinion from the attorney versus what the News Argus has printed. I think that that's
Well,
only
maybe,
fair.
you guys can just tell me right now to my face what your intentions are and what exactly is happening with the
What
attorney.
what our intentions as a commission is?
With regards to the
Okay,
apartments.
so this is the Board of Adjustments that will be hearing the appeals. The commission does not have any control over what's happening with this issue right now. It's the Board of Adjustments. So that meeting will take place, everybody that lives within 300 feet will be notified, and those that have written a letter that have merit will also be notified to be able to attend that meeting.
And
And
merit is defined as a legal term, and there are 4 identified grievances that can be caused a merit appeal. But there are other grievances that were submitted and have been submitted of people that are frustrated with that. That's where the determination, it's a legal term, it's not a value term when we say merit.
So,
Let me stop.
Oh, wait.
Real
So
quick. When it comes to these appeals, I'm sorry. When it comes to the appeals, 1 great appeal or 2 great appeals is as good as 50.
okay,
If the attorney says, okay, these 5 appeals are on track, they got a grievance, they're good to go. We don't need the other 4. It's nice that they're there because, and as a commission, I think each of us are different up here. I'm not gonna speak for the whole commission. Each of us are different. I've said it public and I'll say it publicly. I think the board missed the target on this. But I'm gonna let it go through the process that it needs to. It's an appeal now, it's being done as properly as I can, we, the city, we have an attorney, our city attorney, working with us. But I think, and I've read a couple of appeals that were actually sent to me and read over them, and there's appeals out there that this is gonna get appealed. If someone wrote on a bar napkin that they're pissed off, that they're building a porch building, it's probably not gonna
right,
stand the test.
okay. Thank you for elaborating.
Okay, I just have one more question. So the Board of Adjustments, we all really felt like they didn't listen to a word we said. How are we going to feel any different when we come back? Hopefully somebody's gonna talk to them, because I stayed for the whole deliberation and everything, and not one thing was mentioned that any of the people brought up. So we have a little fear that they're just gonna act on their own. And we want somehow to be guaranteed that things are gonna be different this time. I don't know how that's gonna happen, but it really appeared that our opinion didn't matter and it was already a done deal before we came. So that's the comment I wanna make right now.
I second that.
Thank you.
And so that's the importance of hiring an attorney to work with, they're not working with the city, they are there to support the board through this process.
Who's gonna support us through the process? Because, I mean, the whole idea of having a board of adjustment is to stand up for the community, and they didn't do that. They.
I'll support you,
Yeah.
I'll support you, whatever you need.
I appreciate that. We just wanna be heard, you know, we're not being heard.
Mary Beth Roy, I live at Fountain Terrace, and my comment is that you folks were elected to represent us. And then I did ask one day who the Board of Adjustment is. I didn't see where we got to vote for any of those people. My comment is, I hold the City Commission responsible to make suggestions and determinations and to listen to us. Thanks.
Thank you.
I do have a comment. Mike Byrne again, owner of the sign shop, live in the Esplanade. We get a letter from the attorney in Helen. And the attorney stated, and all he does is deal with variances. And his comment was, the variances are never for the convenience of the builder. They are for the area, the community. If there's an issue there that has to be resolved so it works for the people in that residential area, that community, that's what the variance is for. They are not for the convenience nor the profit of the contractor. And I believe that they did exactly the opposite. That I agree with them, that I don't think they were listening. I think the survey from the beginning was incorrect, was inaccurate. If you're gonna survey, you survey a large number of people, not 4 or 5 at each meeting and a few people that happen to show up at the free beer or the food thing that they have. You actually survey property owners around the community, and that means you could either mail out or you have available to be picked up by everybody. And they send them in, and you're gonna get an accurate accounting of what people feel like. And I believe, I agree with you, Ken, that I think their survey, their tally or their feeling what the community feels is totally off.
Yeah.
They completely missed it. One of the ladies on the adjustment board made a comment that, you know, you're just gonna have to live with change, that's what's gonna happen. Well, yeah, there's always change happening, but she lives up Cottonwood Creek. And I guarantee you, if you put this behind her backyard, she'd probably be a little upset about it. And there's another individual that didn't even live in the area, and the comments didn't carry a lot of water because of instead of listening to the people who live there and their feeling. And we're not trying to chase out apartment houses, we need them, we need rooms. But the bottom line, it has to be common sense and it has to fit. And it has to fit the space that's allotted, and you can't force something much larger than the space designed for something much smaller. It's just kind of common sense. But anyway, that's it.
Okay, any other public comment?
Robert Lowry, Watson, Row 1 Watson. You know, I get a view. I have another place of residence out, Truck by Bass. And from my shop out at Truck by Bass, I can look and I can see the 30-unit apartment, or whatever they say right here. It sticks out like a sore thumb. Now, that's only 30 units. What's 40 units gonna look like in my backyard? I mean, literally, at first I couldn't really see it, but then once I got it up, it's like, wow, that's only 30? What's 40 gonna look like? I mean, it's gonna really, people are going, oh my, you know, yeah. Anybody want a thing, drive right up Truck Bypass, you just look down, it's sitting right there, it's an eyesore. And that's only 30 units. So, and they wanna do 40 units, it's gonna be a big, big change. A change that I don't want, and I don't think a majority of the neighbors here want it either. But, you know, we live in a historical community, and I believe that our historical community isn't being represented the way it should be represented. Single housing, you know, that's, to me, it's not right. Thank you.
I have a question. What was not the original from the builders, was it not 20 buildings or 20 apartments?
I don't know that I ever saw the number of units. Their original design was 2 buildings, but I don't know the number of units that they originally
Two
dropped.
buildings?
2 separate buildings.
Where?
On those lots, on those same lots.
Seriously?
Their original, why they changed it.
I have no idea why they changed.
But you saw the two separate buildings?
Yes.
So this is their second plan?
Yes, and not in any detail.
Yeah,
It was,
yeah, just an idea.
yes,
That's kind of,
conceptual.
yeah.
When is the variance committee's meeting? Do you know?
They have not set their date, but it has to occur before the 24th.
So what if they don't set a date?
They have to.
Mary Beth Roy again, and this is a question, not a comment, sorry. Do you have absolutely, as a commission, no say what the Board of Adjustment, an appointed board, decides in this community?
Very quickly, at this current point, no.
How come that?
The boards are getting absorbed, and in the new process, the commission does receive the appeal. But that is not where we are right now. Right now, the Board of Adjustments is the decider.
Do you know how that happened?
The Board of Adjustments was appointed by a previous commission.
It was, and this has been the structure of the Board of Adjustments for
Many, many years.
many years.
And every time that a board member of the Board of Adjustment serves a 3-year term.
Yes.
Every time their term is up, it comes back to the current commission at that point, and they are appointed to serve on the board again.
Hey, now, I don't mean to be mean, but the Ark, as we call it, is right out my bedroom window. I live at Fountain Terrace. And there's a big sign when you go up, I can't tell you the street, Watson. A large sign, probably about the size of a door, and thanking naming each member of the city commission at the time, and Jeff Whitcraft, the designer, I think the plumber. I just never understood why the city commission chose to get that kind of recognition for their job.
The city didn't do it.
Your name is on it.
Well,
The developer up there paid.
Don't you
have a
people
large
get
sign
to
for
make
that.
any decisions? I'm sorry I'm getting angry, but you
This
guys
is
are
right.
just a pass.
this is, I'm gonna get on my soapbox for a second. The decisions are made by you guys out there. You guys vote on us. I ran unopposed. I can say anything I want. None of you guys had to vote for me because no one's getting involved in local government. These boards that we're talking about, they're necessary, but not easy to fill. Ask someone anywhere to go volunteer the time, whether it be the Board of Adjustments, the TIF board, the TED board, I'm just overwhelmed how many boards there are up here. I'm surprised. But they all need to be filled, and people volunteer. And when we volunteer up here, from him down, or we volunteer pretty much, $200 a month or whatever, but it all starts with the voters and people running for public office. Nobody should ever run opposed in a local election. And that's what's happening. It's happening too much.
I apologize for my camera coming out, but it's very, very frustrating. I appreciate what you do. I don't envy you. I don't want your position, but God, what happened to the street person? And I know, Ken, you're saying you were elected. Why isn't the Board of Adjustments elected?
Is the process.
It's just same reason the
It's
TIF
just how the
board.
board was.
Can you imagine if we had a election for every little board,
Well, when it's that big of a deal, yeah.
And they're gonna absorb, we're getting rid of it with the county's help, or not help, but a partnership.
They're being, the same people are being absorbed.
And another thing that goes along with this, the zoning laws haven't been touched for 45 years.
We're gonna bring this back.
We need it.
To public comment, Michelle, did you have any?
Yeah, just a quick one about the board, because we're all really frustrated with the board. Because that night, we know that it was a done deal before we got there. Don't ask how, but we know. We heard it from the mouth of somebody really important. Also, the board was looking for answers. They didn't know the 25% and all that. They didn't know this stuff. They didn't know what they could do with the roof. They had to call in the lawyer. I don't think they're supposed to ask them. I don't know, but I think they're supposed to be their own cell. And they already knew it was a done deal, and then that night they had to ask questions to their hierarchy because they didn't understand the 25% on the roof. So this is all I'm saying. We cannot trust them.
Tanya Lamprello again. I was here that night, I sat right there and I heard that gentleman, this guy here, what's his name, Spencer Voigt, president of the engineering, I heard him say right here, we didn't want to do this. The city came to us and told us to go higher.
Yeah.
Exactly.
A lot of us heard that.
Exactly right. You know anything about that?
No, I don't.
I do not.
So what was presented to them was our land use plan. And there is those provisions in that land use plan.
Well, why did you need the variances, excuse me, for speaking sitting down?
Okay, any other public comment this evening?
Can I get my question answered, please? I asked
What
why was
is your
we need.
question?
why was
Right
we
now,
need-
we're taking comments and not questions,
Oh.
but go ahead and make your comment. Your comment is?
My comment is, I don't think it's right that there was part of this building plan, but we needed variances. I don't think that was right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
One more comment from Mary Beth Roy. Thank you for what you're presenting to us. It's not real clear, but you're the wrong board that we're talking to. You're the commissioner. It has to go to the Board of Adjustments. And I know that. Thank you.
One other question.
Comment.
A comment, whatever. During the first meeting, I recall, the guy that was writing up the plans, or did the thing, he said they had addressed this, came to the city and told them what they're gonna do. And the way I understood it is the city told them, oh, well, you can go a lot bigger than this. They started out with just single dwelling, fourplex buildings, and when they came to the city, they said, oh, you got room, you can go 3-4 stories high. That's what my understanding was.
I have never seen single, like, apartments or buildings. I saw 2 buildings, and the only comments that were made is, again, there is provisions in the, land use plan that would allow to go up to 75 feet, things like that. So, that plan does increase density within, additional heights, reduce setbacks, things like that. And so that was presented to them.
With variances changed, from my understanding, Christy Nerve, I live on Spring Street, sorry, right across from that lot. And from what I understand, there were plans presented to the planning committee, whoever it might be. And those plans were within all the codes. And somebody told them to go bigger, we'll get the variances changed. Why weren't those plans presented at a public hearing in the very beginning, a year ago?
I've not seen anything that would have been to code at that time. I've seen the 2 separate buildings, but it never had any detail as to if it would have met code or not.
Are there minutes of the meetings to, that we could review?
Board of Adjustments minutes?
Well, or the city meeting that they're saying will be.
We're being told that they're still in the process of being created.
The Board of Adjustments minutes.
The other one was just a development meeting with, the initial development meeting with this development.
And those minutes are available?
No, there is no minutes of that.
Or from the Board of Adjustment that we all went to in February, that's not available either?
They're not available yet.
They're not completed at this time.
Do they have a quorum present?
Yes.
It's supposed to be recorded.
At what meeting are you referring to?
The Board of Adjustment.
Yes.
No,
It
it's
was
not
recorded or
required.
Recorded.
Not recorded.
No.
It's not required to be.
Our meetings are required to be recorded. The Board of Adjustments are not. But they are required to have minutes.
Correct.
Okay.
And they're required to be made available before the next meeting.
They're not required, we're hoping to have them.
Oh, but yeah.
Why aren't they required?
Yeah. They should be.
It's up to the Board of Adjustments.
Who governs the Board of Adjustment?
Sorry, what?
Who governs the board, you don't have, sorry, who governs the Board of Adjustments?
I would assume it, do they have bylaws
They
and
have
things
bylaws.
like that? So it's going.
Who makes their bylaws?
The city approved their
The
bylaws.
city approved
Their
them.
bylaws.
We need to put a bylaw, we need to get together, put a law in there that says, we want the minutes within a certain time of the meeting.
Exactly.
I mean, it's been months, hasn't it? Since that meeting?
A month.
It's month.
A little over a month.
Sure.
Jody Warren, one question. So if the Board of Adjustments is being reassigned and a new board is coming on, is it going to be the old board that sees the appeal, or would it be the new board that would see it?
So that whole process will most likely not take place during this process. So the original board will be the board that sees that appeal.
Thank you.
The Board of Adjustments won't dissolve until all of the business that they have at hand is taken.
Any other comment?
So I guess I didn't hear, Chris Lewis, I guess I didn't hear Ken's answer. Who governs the Board of Adjustments?
Thank you.
Internally, they have a
Like, who
set
do
of
they-
bylaws that the city accepted when the board was created.
Who made those bylaws?
Well,
Probably the Board of Adjustments.
Thank you.
but who do they answer to? I mean, who oversees their budgets, their decisions, their planning? Who?
Their powers and duties are defined under city code, and the city
In
commission
Montana.
So let
appoints.
me ask you this directly, Holly. Do they come to you?
They're citizen board members that are appointed by the city commission.
Okay.
and the authority lies with the board.
So why aren't they elected positions?
It's a good question.
Because we can't get enough people to run for this board, let
Well,
alone
I'll
4 other,
guarantee
you know what I'm
If
saying?
people understand
Now they
what's
will.
really going on, you'll have some action.
That's why the whole existence why I'm up here is because no one will run for government, so
Right.
we gotta get some people that'll do something.
Okay, I'm gonna bring this back. I would just like to publicly say, was there any other public comment?
I just wanna say, I know that you guys work really hard, and I appreciate that, and, but I feel that there's a silver lining here, that it has brought my neighborhood closer together. And, I moved to this city, so that I could have more involvement in, civic affairs. And I'm just grateful that this is happening, because now I get to understand how it works. And, so, thanks for your hard work.
Thank you. Okay, I would just like to comment, that Deb Bowser and I are both commissioners over Ward 1. So you're in our neighborhood, and I don't know what the status is of the rest of the commission, but I did write a letter of appeal. And I made sure that it really merited through the criteria of what the Board of Adjustment was looking at and requiring legally. I've only received one call, and that's from Michelle Rainey regarding this whole issue. So both Deb and I welcome your calls, and will continue to be a voice for you because we represent your ward.
I didn't know that. And I thought,
Also, our commissioner at large too.
And Commissioner at Large as
And I've
well.
received no comments, but I agree with Lorraine.
I've just been talking to Michelle Rainey. I had no idea that you were a point of contact.
Yeah, reach out. I'm right down your street.
Thank you.
On water.
Thank you, I'm on water.
And infected by it as well, so thank you. Thank you for your comment. Last meeting we had when everyone attended, we were able to discuss things a little bit more during our commission minutes, the commissioner minutes. At the end of our meeting, we have a chance to opportunity to go through each commissioner and make comment. And a lot of comments were made about just how we were grateful that the public showed up and voiced their comments, and just how passionate our community is about this issue, and we're really grateful for that. Everyone left after this time here, so no one was able to really witness or hear that. So I invite you to stay if you want to be here for those commissioner minutes and hear commissioner feedback or input regarding some of the things that we've discussed. But you are also free to leave as well, as we move on to our regular agenda. So it's completely up to you. But, hey, so if we're good with public comment, we're going to be moving on to our consent agenda. So do any of the commissioners have any questions regarding our consent agenda? I have just one.
Okay.
No. Oh, anybody else? Okay, mine was just regarding the, on page 1, it's line 58731 for the pool, for the uniform. Is that just like for staff and t-shirts and?
So, 58731, that's Valco.
Mm-hmm.
When we hire a new officer, we outfit them completely
Oh,
for
please.
duty.
Okay. Oh, I read that wrong.
It's not POOL, it's POL.
There you go. Okay.
Yeah, so it's
that's all-
for our newest officer.
So one officer, that's the amount that they spend
Yeah,
on
because
this
that's
year?
their belts, their vests, their pants, shoes.
Good.
Guns under firearms, so I'm pretty sure that that's in a different spot. But the vests are very expensive.
Well, I'm glad you clarified that for me, because I was like, what is that? Is that guards costing that much?
No, my guards.
It's a
swimsuit.
No. They have like all the couch things that you wear.
Thank you for that.
Oh, you're welcome. Anytime. I'm fine to deliver tonight.
I move to approve the claims to be paid from March 13th to March 31st.
Did you have any other questions?
Did Commissioner Hewitt have questions?
I can't find it, so.
Do you remember what it was?
Nope.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All right, we have a motion from Commissioner Bueller, a second from Commissioner Warren. Any other questions? Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, the consent agenda passes. Moving on to the regular agenda, item number 1 is discussion and action on the redevelopment of the Old Berg lumber site. Okay, City Manager Holly Phelps.
Yes, so included in your packet was a presentation that we did many years ago regarding the cleanup of the Berg lumber site. And then I tacked on some of our redevelopment efforts on the back end of this. So historically, that property was subdivided in very early on in Lewistown history, 1911. So that is a subdivision. It consists of approximately 26 acres. There is streets and roads, so that brings it up closer to 40 acres. A sawmill was placed at that site. We know later that sawmill had some improper disposal of hazardous materials that needed to be cleaned up. And based on complaints, DEQ required that site to be cleaned up. And so the city obtained the property through the bankruptcy trust in 2009 that allowed us to access the brownfield program, and that's where the majority of the cleanup funds were obtained. And so the grants we got were over $600,000. They removed a whole lot of hazardous materials and concrete and building materials, tires and sawdust. And just last year, we did receive a no further action letter from DEQ. And in 2015, with a partnership with our Recharge Our Community, they received a grant through the Big Sky Trust Fund to look at what redeveloping this property looked like. And so you can see there was several different options. Always identified there was housing. And so we put it out for proposals the first time in 2018 and didn't receive any proposals back in that. And then again, we did it in 2022. This time we ended up with 3 proposals. The commission at that time selected who they thought was the best developer that presented the best proposal. We did have a conditional offer for the property that required a development agreement to be in place prior to the transfer of the property. And the timeline on that was it needed to be completed by December of 2025. So that's why we're bringing that back today, is obviously that time has come and gone. We had no development agreement or really much discussion about a development agreement for that property. The developer did look at how to fund the utilities, that being the biggest obstacle to overcome with redeveloping this area. And so tonight, we're just bringing it back before you guys to see where you would like to go from here.
Any questions from the commission?
Have we put it out for bid again or not?
So you could ask us to put it out there for proposals. Right now, the previous proposal left it up to kind of mixed-use development with housing, and housing targeted at kind of that low moderate income, kind of the middle income housing.
How long does a request for proposal last?
So typically, I think the last time we did it, we gave them roughly 60 days to put together a proposal for us, to provide some maps and kind of schematics of what they envisioned there. And then they typically will be offered an opportunity to address the commission.
This lot has been with the city since 2009.
12.
You didn't have ownership at first.
says the city obtained the property in June 2009.
But I don't think we truly owned it because we had to go through some grant processes.
Okay.
And then we did, because we wanted to get it cleaned up
Yeah, I was
to
gonna say.
whatever
it
we
has
could before actually purchasing it.
Okay, and the city has obviously tried to sell this or have this developed into housing. Has it ever been proposed to just keep the land and turn it into a green space?
Not that I'm aware of. The first proposal was 2012, where the city commission heard from a local farmer rancher that was going to just keep it as a hayfield at that point.
How close are the city utilities there?
In Cheadle Street, so adjacent to the street next
okay,
to the church. So both water and sewer.
So they have to bring it across I'm kind of curious, why we were waiting for them to come up with a developer's plan? Why didn't we give them a developer's plan?
So we gave them an example of a development agreement. So they had what we would like to see, and that talks about, how to cost share or, fund, utilities, street lighting, streets, water and sewer infrastructure, annexation, whether that's phased or not, things like that, were all explored in
And they
that
had
draft.
right at 2 years?
A year.
A year. They didn't come up with, did they even try? Did they call and say, sorry, we're late, I'll get my homework? So they probably didn't want it soon after they decided.
So the developer has reached out a couple times, had some health challenges, family and cancer, things like that. But again, never offered to extend the offer.
Sure. Would you be okay, I mean, I'd like to, just from the background, are you good with me?
Absolutely.
So, I was part of the group, Ollie was there, I think Tim was maybe on our housing part of it. But the concept of the Berg property is the city owns it, really doesn't have, I think you ended up having to pay back Snowy Mountain Development like the $100,000 that they put in as a match. So the dollars in it aren't a ton. And the idea is that you've got this fully platted block of property with about 100 lots on it, adjacent to city utilities. And there are still some concerns about maybe some quantities of sawdust in there. I hear different things. I don't know that it's as bad as some people make out, but whatever, there's a lot of discussion. But the point is it's gotta be the least expensive place to develop around here. I mean, if you move out of town and you try to subdivide, you gotta go through that subdivision process, it's massive. And if you don't have utilities next to it, then that's a huge expense. I mean, it takes a few $1 million to move those utilities and build streets and stuff in this. It's 10 times that if you go out of town and just start over. So our view of it was, this is the best opportunity for the city to kind of promote the idea of another developed neighborhood. That's the idea. And, I think maybe taking a different, little more proactive approach to it. And if it was me, I'm the chair of the board, so, understand I might be biased. But I really think if you push this and said, Snowy Mountain Development, you're our economic development engine, right? You guys are members, the county's member, right? I think if you put it out to them to go and try to hustle up interest in it, you might find it better than when you just advertise, we're looking for somebody's, plan. Because these things take a while, and it takes a little bit of sales pitch, and you need to connect with the right people. And I think with a little bit of work, that could be a beautiful area. I mean, it always kind of gets a bum rap because it's a little bit decayed around there. There's some rundown places, and it itself is rundown. But it's absolutely, absolutely beautiful views. And the whole plan had a walking trail that went from up on top down to the walking trail next to the fishing access on, Fish and Wildlife property right on the creek. I think it's a diamond in the rough kind of thing. And, it's hard to say, hey, Holly, go sell this place, right? I mean, so it doesn't happen. I think if we push this and at least see what Snowy Mountain Development thinks. Since I'm on the board, I think it's a good idea. I think, you know, you're on the board, aren't you, Tammy?
Nope.
Who's on the board now?
Tim.
Oh, Tim, all right. So Tim,
I've been
we have to do
around
it
the
too.
board.
Anyway, but I just feel like we don't, I don't wanna see it given up, because I know people say, hey, I'll give you, you know, $20,000 for it, put storage units there. Well, in my view, you're wasting this fully subdivided neighborhood that's ready to go. So I would encourage that, just to say, let's go talk to them, see what our economic development group can do for us. And, because, you know, and housing is softened a little bit, you know, but it's still a need. And this is an opportunity for those single family houses and maybe some multifamily and whatever, but the plan is good. The one Staley put together, it was a big community project. A lot of discussion about the green space and the walking trails and how the house is laid out and kind of the whole development of that area. So anyway, that's my little pitch.
I would say one thing that could be explored that in the past RFPs that was not really emphasized is that it could be a phased development. You know, again, 40 acres feels like a big chunk, especially when you're looking at utilities, though that's the most economical way is to do it now. It doesn't, you could just do that section, you know, like one block off of Cheeto and do the full length, just a block deep or something like that too.
But it comes back to the problem of finding a developer that is interested in developing that site. Because that's where we've run aground a couple of different times.
Well,
And that's it. I mean, my view is that's why you wanna find somebody that's gonna go and hustle that developer. I mean,
A realtor type person to market it.
I think.
You need to get it out there. How do people know it's for sale?
Because, you know, there's inquiries all the time and there's connections out there, like there's people looking. And so you're right, realtors would be engaged in some level, but you don't even have that yet. I've got a commissioner friend from Fargo who's an engineer who's always bugging me about finding him a spot to put 10 houses here. Right? Now, I've never really pushed it very hard because I've never found the spot for 10 houses. But I think those kind of things, if you tie it in with somebody that's really hustling it, like Snowy Mountain, I mean, I just feel like these guys, they get calls. I mean, I know Holly gets calls more than the county does, but Snowy Mountain gets it all the time from people saying, hey, we're looking at what the opportunities are. And I feel like if you put them at the forefront and engage them, they're your economic development entity, right? I mean, they work for you. I think say, okay, prove up, let's go find something.
Is there a cost?
Probably.
No, I mean, Snowy Mountain works on, like with this, they would be charged up on it. There might be something that they figure out how to have some administrative, somebody comes in, I don't know. But, you know, on the front end of just being out there talking to Department of Commerce and, you know, the entities that might be looking, you're already paying for it, you're a member.
Oh, so we all, housing is kind of the push with this. Everybody
That's
feels
always been a priority.
We've always talked, housing on this.
And you said very quickly that we finally received documentation from DEQ that the land is something?
No further action, so no more cleanup necessary.
Okay. Has that been historically problematic when thinking about developing that land? Is things like the geothermal and the technical reviews of the land?
I would say that those are big questions that everyone has. You know, many of the previous developers have utilized their own funding to explore, you know, the sawdust and how much is there and what the geotech will require for foundations and things like that. The no further action letter, I think, was a big question mark in many of their heads. But now that that's resolved, that's kind of resolved itself. Okay.
So Snowy Mountain Development, they've had some input a lot in the past on this already, right? They were partners with doing the assessments and, okay.
They, of course, did recharge our community with us, and then they also helped draft that first RFP.
So could doing, reaching out to both, doing both the request for proposals, more of those and Snowy Mountain? Is that both an option?
It's kind of a parallel.
Yeah. So you want from us a direction of where to take this project?
Some sort of direction, not necessarily, it doesn't have to be a final answer, but if you guys want us to continue exploring, working with Snowy Mountain or whatever, we can report back on.
It would be great if Snowy Mountain was interested to come and present what they would do if we did engage them in a collaboration. Because that may be very helpful to hear how that would work. So that could be
On our committee of the whole list, Snowy Mountain's on there, on kind of the services that they offer, and we could definitely ask.
We could have a very direct question of what would that partnership look like?
Does he have to come again?
How would it?
He might.
Be implemented and basically identifying roles if that's how we would like to do that.
Yep, well, and they have a great resource as far as the grants and understanding of the various grant programs and what funds are available, which makes them kind of that next piece of the development puzzle anyway.
So, when we had the three, developers come forward with their requests, we chose the one, it didn't pan out. Did the other two ever reach out again, or?
One of them was built a 30-story apartment right out there.
And the other one has continued to work on another piece of property around town too. So, I mean, they stayed engaged, but not necessarily on Burke Lumber.
I feel like if you put that back out there, and we got three the last time, wouldn't it be?
Again, I have many conversations with folks, regarding this, different people that will just ask questions and then kind of fade into the background. I think there's probably still a lot of interest. It's a gorgeous piece of property.
I personally really like the idea of involving Snowy Mountain in the fact that, just how community-minded they are and the needs for that, because when those propositions came up, those proposals came forward to us, it was a little confusing as far as like, how would this land be developed, or what really was their intent, or what was their plan, and.
Can you follow through on what you're saying?
Yeah.
And you guys can still have the decision-making authority and be able to make sure it met your needs or the community's needs.
Do we need a motion to do that, to move forward?
It would be great.
I move that we engage Snowy Mountain Development and ask them to prepare a presentation in the upcoming committee of the whole. It's a long motion, get ready, Nikki. To discuss how a collaboration could look between the city and Snowy Mountain in review of developing the Burke Lumber site.
I second it.
Okay, we have a motion on the table for Commissioner Bueller, a second from Commissioner Shaver. Any other questions or comments from the commission?
I'm gonna need a little more clarification.
Yep, it's all the words.
Engage Snowy Mountain Development to prepare a presentation in collaboration between the city and Snowy Mountain for.
To look at the development of the Burke Lumber site.
Thank you.
Welcome. You didn't like my 150-word motion there?
It was too fast.
Okay, any other comments from the commission regarding the motion? So that still does not rule out that we could still do requests for proposals. We could still put out the.
And if somebody walks in tomorrow with an offer, it's presented to you guys.
Yeah. Okay. Okay, any other comments? Questions are allowed too from the public. Sure.
is Ashley Morris. I have a company in Lewistown. I'm curious if land exchange is something that could be considered with this discussion topic.
Like for that one on Spring Street, maybe they wanna build down a Bird Lumber.
That would be awesome.
I would definitely think that the commission would consider it.
Yeah.
How to answer further than that, I guess, would be what they decided, what was presented to the
You're all
commission.
very smart people, I feel like you can connect to that.
Jody Warren, 416 West Morris. I was wondering, has the commission considered making a dog park as something our community really could use? It's a beautiful spot. It would just take a fence that wouldn't really cost a ton of money, and I think would be a real benefit to this community.
We've discussed that quite a bit, so a few organizations have come forward wanting to move forward with that idea and the concept, and has never really gotten to bring anything to the commission on it. Just a lot of organizations talking about how nice something like that would be.
I wonder if Snowy Mountain would be able to look into some sort of grant process to maybe get a little bit of funding to put that together.
Something that could be incorporated.
You can even step forward and
I sure
spearhead
appreciate
something
you.
like
I
that.
have a lot on my plate right now, girl.
We need a lot of passionate people to make things like that happen in our community. Commission or the public before we do a roll call vote?
Okay. Does everybody understand the motion, or do you want it reread again?
You should reread it.
Okay. The motion is to engage Snowy Mountain Development Corporation to prepare a presentation in collaboration between the city and Snowy Mountain Development to look at development of the Bird Lumber site. Okay, Diana, what's wrong? What?
Go ahead, Commissioner Hewitt.
Nope, go ahead.
Okay.
Please read the motion one more time.
Engage Snowy Mountain Development Corporation to prepare a presentation for collaboration between the city and Snowy Mountain to look at development of the Bird Lumber site.
Okay, let's do a roll call.
We're ready? Commissioner Bowser?
Aye.
Commissioner Bueller?
Aye.
Commissioner Day?
Aye.
Commissioner Hewitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Robertson's not here. Commissioner Shaver?
Aye.
Commissioner Warren?
Alright,
Thank you. Okay, moving on to item number 2, it's goal setting for fiscal year 2027, City Manager Holly Phelps.
Yes, so included in your packet, and this is not something that you have to have tonight. We would like you to provide them, and I have a couple extra blank ones in case somebody needs it or messed up, and we can send them out again. But I did provide the 2026 goals, the previous goals, and this is just kind of a running list of things that have been discussed by previous commission. But these goals often give us direction for budget and prioritization of projects. They include sewer and water rates, code updates, water issues including chlorination, zoning and annexation, cemetery rates and expansion, streets, contracts, more detail and more follow-up with our various contracts, light on Casino Creek, public works building, the replacement to that, improved access to recreation, affordable housing, infrastructure repairs, encourage community development, ensure departments have staff and equipment to meet their needs, update ward boundaries, the desire for more commissioner trainings, more input from various departments, improve how the agenda is structured, improve communication / relationships with the county, relationships with our residents, with focus on internet presence and Facebook, Staffing, thinking outside the box. More time for education and training, including leases, projects, city-owned properties, grants and funding, projects in unconventional ways, growth policy updates and other policies, recognizing our accomplishments, tours of city departments, and parking. Were just a brief summary of the various things. You can see what the commission last year commented on, and we look forward to hearing you guys' thoughts on the next year.
So I was just gonna ask, in handouts tonight, this one was just created based off of what you've heard so far?
No, that was the one from last year.
This is all last year.
Yep. And we can go over that if you guys want, just so everybody sees it. Staffing, so recruitment and retention, public works director recruitment efforts, consider revising the job description or recruitment strategies, wage study to make sure we stay competitive, leadership development, land use. Provide a timeline for establishing the planning commission structure, including the number of members and representation, update regulations, including zoning, subdivision, and design standards, and continue working on priorities identified in the land use plan. And that includes transportation plan, downtown parking, convention center, and emphasis on the creek in the downtown. Infrastructure, create a 10-year infrastructure plan that includes street maintenance, water, sewer, and how to fund this work. Look at water rates, lead service lines, DEQ. Resolve the storm issues, which is biosolids. City ordinances. Continue to evaluate and update our city ordinances. Use the ordinance committee you propose to change. Parking, animals at large, fire code, and communications. Current MOUs, identify partnerships requiring new or updated agreements. Improve communication with the public. So those were last year's goals.
When would you like these two?
That too is on a committee of the whole. It would be great if I could have them at the next meeting, but if not, and if it doesn't work in people's schedules, we can definitely do it the first meeting in May.
Okay.
So I may be submitting another one to you, because
I
you
have a
submitted mine
blank one.
way too early, I guess, in the year, but, I can look at this again and review. I would like to see some of these goals, I don't ever remember getting this, that we haven't achieved since we goal set it for them for this last fiscal year to be carried over for the year. That's just my opinion.
And a lot of things are going to span more than a year.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Any other questions from the commission or comments? Any of these items on your radar that you guys want to see happen, or?
Mostly just be, everybody put their goals together, bring it back.
Okay. And then making another sheet similar to something
We'll
like this.
prepare the new one, and then we'll use that to guide budget and decisions in the next year.
Okay, any other questions? Anything from the public or comments? Okay, we'll move on to item number 3. It's discussion and action updating the city's purchasing policy. City Manager Holly Phelps.
Yes, so this is something you guys see often, is our purchasing policy. I believe it's included in your binder. The last one was updated in 2012, and inflation has grown significantly since then. And so tonight, the changes would just be an approximate inflationary increase, which inflation was roughly 40%, 39, somewhere in there. And so we have various levels of purchasing. The general purchasing means that with very little documentation, staff with the authority to do purchasing can make purchases up to $1,000. The current threshold there is $500. Of course, they have to provide us an invoice with all of that information, and it has to be approved by their department head and be budgeted for. Smaller purchases, so the new amount would be between $1,000 and $7,500. Require at least 2 quotes. And then the intermediate purchases, which is our purchase requisition, which you often see for purchases of larger things, would move that threshold up to $20,000 before it came to you guys. It actually is less than the 40%. I was more comfortable with it coming to you guys at 20. Right now that top end is 15. So it was 5 to 15 is what that existing one is. So it would be 7,500 to 20,000.
Versus up to 15.
Right now it's at 15, yeah. And so that does require written quotes. Again, it needs to be budgeted, and then anything above the 20,000 would come back to you guys. And then, so that large purchase that would go up to 75,000. Currently, that is at 50. And then we do have state law that is going to dictate some of that, whether we get to the formal bidding process and things like that. The city has always been more stringent than what's required under state law to require the formal bid process, which is, you know, a published bid. And so that would be go from 50 to 75,000. And then for professional services, we are required under state law as well to do an RFQ process, whether that's for, and this is what Commissioner Shaver was discussing, you know, professional services, technical, engineering, legal services, those sort of things. Our consultants, it could be, we do it a lot with, you know, the planning side of things, whether we're hiring an architect or an engineer, those sorts of things.
And those are all at your discretion? It says just city managers approve, you're the one that has to approve that.
Well, and then it would fall into this provision. So anything at 20,000 has to come back for you guys to approve.
Oh, so that attorney that we got for this other thing, if he gets up around 20,000, well, it's too late now, we hired him.
It's an hourly, so, yeah.
Yes, if it gets up to that.
Yeah, it would have to come back.
Okay.
Is the city office comfortable with these new dollar amounts? Does it fit within kind of the current purchasing realities?
Yes.
Because you said they're even still less than the inflation rate. This is what you had felt comfortable.
Yes, this would be an inflation thing, change, I mean, primarily focused on the inflationary condition from those periods. We did add emphasis on our purchases that departments should seek using local vendors whenever possible, especially for our smaller purchases. We hate to see our department seeking Amazon, things like that, when there's local vendors that have the ability to provide those, at very close to the same cost. So really emphasizing that.
If approved, when does this go into effect?
There's a blank currently there. It's completely at your discretion if you want it effective immediately, or if you would like to wait till the next budget year or something like that.
Do you have quite a few large purchases coming through that you know of?
I think.
The normal.
Yeah,
The
we've got
normal
2 to 3 coming up because of, we're in the time of year.
Yep.
I've looked at the budget. We're coming close to the end. I want my departments to start looking at those capital items that they budgeted for and if they could still purchase them. So that's what we're working on now.
And so you heard, like, the fire department, the chief had planned on purchasing turnouts.
Yep.
That is something he has set aside. Again, it isn't maybe his top priority, but if he can purchase the full amount that he had budgeted, he's very close to having that already, and he was not able to attend tonight's meeting, otherwise you might have seen that one tonight. But that would fall in there. I don't think our new value would, I think they'd still be bringing it forward. If we're purchasing cars or those larger purchases, they're still gonna come back.
And then how does that affect the city office and the claims going through? Would it be difficult to absorb it right now? Would you prefer it at the fiscal year or implement today?
Probably for ease of everything, it might just be better to do July 1. And then it fits for you as the budget also.
Exactly.
Approval of the budget.
Okay. That means that whole fiscal year, this fiscal year that we're in, the rules will stay the same.
Correct.
Starting next fiscal year, the rules will change.
And that just might be easier for us too, because confusion.
Okay. I move we approve updating the city's purchasing policy with an effective date of July 1, 2026.
A second.
Okay, we have a motion from Commissioner Bueller and a second from Commissioner Bowser. Any other questions for Holly or Nikki regarding the purchase policy?
Do we need this updated just because we're running into it a lot, or?
Inflation and added process for our staff.
Any other comments from the commission or the public? Okay, let's do a roll call vote.
Okay, so we are approving the update of the city's purchasing policy with an effective date of 7/1/2026. Commissioner Bowser.
Aye.
Commissioner Bueller.
Aye.
Commissioner Day.
Aye.
Commissioner Hewitt.
Aye.
Commissioner Shaver.
Aye.
Commissioner Warren.
Alright.
Okay, we're moving on to citizens' requests. So these are requests from our citizens, yes.
Sandy Youngbar, 49 Dairy Drive. I have a point of clarification. On that Board of Adjustments, somebody said that one of the individuals on that board was not even from the area or in the city. Can you clarify that for me?
I think that was Mr. Byrne.
She lives up Cottonwood Creek. She lives up Cottonwood Creek.
So she's not in the city limits.
And it wasn't a board member, correct? It was one of the comments.
No, it was Board of Adjustments.
She's in.
Who?
That long lady, that's all I know, I don't remember her name.
Gail, don't you? They're all in the city limits.
She said herself, I live up Cottonwood Creek.
No.
No.
That's Casino Creek that Gail lives on, not Cottonwood.
Correct.
So
But she's in
She
the
lives
city.
in the city.
they're all required to be
They
living.
have to be city residents.
Okay, I'm just going by what she said.
What is the current
She
makeup of the board of
said, I don't
adjustments?
live in town. She said that.
It is Jennifer Thompson.
Okay.
Gail Doney.
Yep.
Patty Turk.
Okay.
Gary Slagle and Ryan Day.
Yeah, I have
Jennifer
not heard
Thompson
that.
also has blonde hair, so.
She was not present.
She was not, and she did not, wrong Jennifer Thompson, the one that's with
Thank you.
Wade
So
behind the courthouse.
clarify then that, so at the Board of Adjustments at that meeting, Jennifer was not present, Jennifer Thompson?
Correct. She
So
was
they
absent.
only have 4 of the members of the
Which
board.
that's all
that
they
were there.
need to have a quorum.
Yeah, I understand that, I was under the assumption that they were all present.
No, they were
So
not.
she was not there.
Correct.
Okay, another clarification I have about the minutes of those meetings. The city is governed under Montana Code Annotate Title 7, Chapter 4, and the county's mandated to have those minutes on file. I believe it's within 21 days of those appointed boards. Isn't the city under that? I know we're both charter forms of government.
I don't.
They changed that about 8 years ago.
We need to look into that.
Also need to see their bylaws.
You can have different things that reach past the Montana Code, but they can't be in violation of the Montana Code with the charter form.
Exactly. And I think what a big point was brought up today is understanding and reading the bylaws of the Board of Adjustments. So we need to read those.
Who are they?
That's a good question. Let's Google it.
Holly, do you know where the bylaws
I'm
would be?
sure they're held in the office.
Yeah.
Can you email them out?
I can look for you.
Would you please?
Okay, any other citizen requests? Okay, okay. All right, we'll move on to commissioners' minutes. So we'll start with on this end this time. Or we can start down here if you prefer. Okay. Go ahead. Okay, thank you. Commissioner Bueller?
Can you skip me for a minute and then
Yeah,
I'll
sure
collect
can.
all my thoughts?
I
Thank you.
know, I'm processing too. Commissioner Shaver? Straight down.
Yeah, I'm glad everyone's here. I'm glad everyone stuck around for after the big, everyone visiting or giving their opinions up here. And I appreciate everyone that's up here, you know. I gotta say, we're doing the best we can. It's a process. I'm learning that. It's fun. I'm enjoying, it's learning. It's something I never knew before. I really thought I was the king of Facebook or something, you know, taking this position, but I'm really enjoying it, and there's a lot more, you know, these guys told me from the beginning, there's a lot more behind the scenes, but there's a correct way to do things, and we gotta hold these people that are up here, including myself and everyone else, accountable for the way we do things. And, you know, and I think I'm not worried about the bill of the apartments up there. I almost know for sure it will not be built. And, I have confidence in that. And, it was nice, but not nice to visit about Berg lumber again. I've been listening to that story for years now. And I really want to just get it off our books, get it off the City of Lewistown. We have to give it to Stony Mountain Development. I don't know, but we don't. I just really want to be past that already and move on from there. So if it's a dog park or a nice living area like it could be, but let's get it taken care of. There's a lot of things I feel like the city maybe we like not to make decisions up here. I think that needs to change. That's all.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Commissioner Bowser?
I just had a constituent call the other day and said that they are moving their vehicles every night. Their neighbors are not, and nobody's getting ticketed. I need to know why nobody else is getting ticketed that's not following the law and the rules. And they also said there's a lot of speeding on their street, and they were wondering, where are the cops? So they said I would bring it forward.
Which street is that on?
Boulevard.
On Boulevard. Anywhere. No.
So, and I don't know the answer to that, but I had to bring it forward.
Thank you.
That's it.
Commissioner Hewitt?
I don't have anything tonight. I appreciate everybody coming that did comment.
Commissioner Bueller. Thank you for giving me a moment. I had to collect my thoughts. I want to echo my other commissioners. I really appreciate you guys participating, coming, sharing with us your ideas, your concerns. It's very important that we hear that, and it does affect how we can view these things going forward. So thank you, everyone. One thing that has come to light to me tonight is that we need to continue reviewing city process. Things like the bylaws of the Board of Adjustments, something we need to read and inform ourselves on so that we know how each of these structures are working. Even if it may change in the near future, we still need to be informed today. I'd like to restate that I think it would be very beneficial for our city manager to reconnect with the developer, to discuss the concerns our city is having, to maybe brainstorm ideas on how to solve this in a way that offers positive resolution. And I would note that as a person who is very aware of that area, I have concerns significantly with parking and street congestion in that area with that amount of residences. That is my greatest concern. I think that that is something that, as we note in our goals, as we talk about every 3 or 4 months at this commission, parking and street congestion is problematic. And we need to be thoughtful in how we approach the need for housing with the capacity of our streets. Lastly, thank you, commissioners, for offering your information and insight. Each one of these meetings is incredibly valuable, and we learn each time we come, and I really appreciate it. And I am looking forward to seeing if we can create a positive solution going forward with this Spring Street Apartments. It has been a big topic. We enjoy hearing these big topics and trying to create solutions that support everyone. That's what I would have to say.
May I make a comment about that, please?
Sure.
Marie Boyer, and the Esplanade. When you stop and think about, say there's 30 units there, you're talking about 30 cars. Most people have 2 cars. Many people, all right, husband has a car, wife has a car, and the husband might have a pickup. So we also have to consider those types of situations for the parking around that building. And of course, we have parking around 3 sides, outside parking on the 3 sides of the Esplanade, and it is used. And like I say, most people do not have 1 car. And it was also commented that that building will be close enough to downtown that people can walk downtown to go shopping. Well, I don't know about you, but I'm too old to carry all those groceries back up. It takes me 3.5 minutes to drive to Albertsons. I am not walking there. If I have to go downtown, I'm sorry, I'm driving. Older people cannot walk that far. I'm sorry. Some of them can, yes, and I admire them. But as far as the parking goes, think about the extra cars. How many cars do you, not you, but I mean all of us, have in our family? At our age, we still have 2. A pickup and a car. And if anybody, and of course, they probably wouldn't have children in that building. But a lot of times, the older kids, what do they get as soon as they're 16, 17 years old? And so the parking just goes beyond the number of units that are there, quarter half of them are, two-bedroom units. We may have 3 people living in there. So that's just another consideration about the parking. Thank you.
Thanks, Lee.
I have a minute or two. My first question is regarding the planning commission. We have our county names submitted. We have from us, the district, the conservation.
Conservation
Are we
District.
still waiting on that?
I've not heard back from them as far as they reappointed. Again, then they have to do their bylaws and a few organizational things before they're up and functional.
Okay. And then, we discussed tonight that planning commission cannot happen until the Board of Adjustments has settled all of their issues of what have you, and then does it look like it's a pretty quick turnaround for?
I think it's important that they have their bylaws in place prior to, so kind of.
The new planning
Yes,
commission,
yeah.
okay, before they.
Or hit the ground running.
Okay, okay. My other question was, most everything has been answered through this evening, so I appreciate that. And then you'll be emailing minutes, from the Board of Adjustments as soon as those are done?
If you
How
want
are
that.
we gonna have access to that to make them public for everybody? Okay. And then you also requested tonight to have the bylaws emailed as well? Okay. All right, and then, that was pretty much all I had. Thank you, everyone, for coming out tonight and for being involved in the process. And if there's anything else for the good of the order? Okay, this meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Mrs. Boyer just reminded me, those streets up there were the best streets in the world to look at when we were kids.